Hello ladies, my name is Ariel Jillian and I am here with a really important health topic for all of my Black women out there. Do you have uterine fibroids, and what are the signs and symptoms to know that you have them? Before I dive into the signs and symptoms, and if you do have uterine fibroids, I want to get really vulnerable with you and share my story. Let me get my coffee. This could be some tea, some real tea in this story, okay? So my journey with fibroids started around 2019, but before I even knew I had fibroids, I have always had extremely heavy periods. When I tell you, when my period came, I could not leave my bed. I could not eat. I would throw up anything. I would throw up water. When I would drink water, my period cramps were that bad. And I thought it was normal. I thought it was just a thing. I thought I just had heavy bleeding. I didn't think anything of it. But whenever my period would come, I knew that I would just have one day where I just could not get out of bed. And I planned for it. I took off work sometimes. I just knew that I would not be able to get out of bed. So 2019 comes and I'm going with life as usual. So I'm a fashion designer and I make beautiful gowns and dresses for people, but all of this, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of work, and I love what I do. I absolutely enjoy it, but I am a workaholic, so I work a lot and it can get pretty stressful. But I just thought, I'm gonna just grind hard. I have all these really great design goals and dreams that I want to reach. So I never thought anything of it. I've always been an overachiever since high school. Never thought anything of it. Come 2019, it's gonna get a little spicy, but I'm being vulnerable and telling you my story because I really think that this could help somebody else in the future. But it was one time after sex, I actually ended up throwing up because it was really painful for some reason. And then that next morning, I just saw this lump like protruding out of my stomach, and it just looked really, really weird. I didn't know what was going on. I saw this lump in my stomach, I threw up after sex. Like, that had never happened to me before in my life. So I went to the doctors, I went to the emergency room, I got checked, and they sent me home. They said there was nothing wrong. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. They sent me home the first time. So, after that experience, I kind of brushed it off. I didn't really do anything about it because I went to the emergency room. I got checked. They sent me home. So time goes by, and I think it was around July 2019 when I was actually in a photo shoot and I was practicing, getting ready for this big event that I had coming up, and my period came on and I just literally fell on the bathroom floor and could not get up. My cramps were that bad, that painful, I could not get up. I had to call my boyfriend at the time. He picked me up, took me home. When we were driving home on the highway, we had to stop the car in the middle of the highway so I could throw up on the side of the road. My cramps were that bad. This had never happened to me before, but I had already had the experience of the lump in my stomach before, so I knew that something is wrong. Something's wrong here. And so this time when I went to the hospital, I demanded to get an ultrasound. I told them, something is wrong with me. Please figure this out. There is something in my stomach. So this time around, I got an ultrasound from the doctor's office, and lo and behold, I had uterine fibroids. Now, when the doctor told me I had uterine fibroids, there wasn't a lot that he said about it. He just said, you have multiple fibroids, they're not that big, they shouldn't really cause you that many problems. And there wasn't really any push to get further medical attention from the doctor's office. So I went home at that point, and I was really depressed. I was really, really, really depressed about it. Here's when the story gets even worse. So back in 2015, 2015, I actually lost one of my closest friends, Courtney, to fibroid complications. She was 28. She had these fibroids in her stomach, and just like the doctor had told me, they're not that big of an issue. You should be fine. A lot of women live with fibroids, so you'll be fine. And so she had a plan to get them out, but in between that, she actually got pregnant. And so with pregnancies, fibroids can really mess that up and can start eating nutrients from the pregnancy. And so it ended up taking her life. And when I tell you, I was 21, I was maybe 22 at the time when this happened. But when you see your friend go from extremely vibrant and lively, 28, and then in 2 weeks she's dead, that really does something to your consciousness. And then lo and behold, I get older, I'm 27, and I find out that I have the same exact issue that she had. That really hurt me, because I saw within a matter of weeks, she went from vibrant and happy to having a brain seizure and dying and having to be taken off of life support. And so when I got diagnosed, it was just really hard for me, because it brought back those memories. And I was tired of people telling me that I would be okay and that it's not a big issue, because this is a big issue, and it's a really big issue for Black women. Over 80% of Black women suffer from uterine fibroids, and it's not treated as a big issue because this really affects our emotions, our stability, and such. I'm back. I have to wipe my face a little bit. I'm gonna sip on my tea. Just calm down. Calm down a little bit. Okay. So I fell into this really dark depression after I found out that I had uterine fibroids because of my friend's past death in 2015, and the fact that I didn't feel like nobody was treating my illness very seriously. So at this point, I started researching everything I could about fibroids and what I could do to make my health better. And this is where I want to go ahead and go into, do you have fibroids and the signs and symptoms that you might have fibroids? So number one signs and symptoms that I have figured out is, one, heavy bleeding during your periods. That is a really big sign. If you have blood clots when you bleed, that is something that definitely can show that you have fibroids. Heavy cramps, if you have extremely bad pain during your cycle, this is something else that may point to it. If you feel like you have lumps in your stomach, or if you have bad pain during sex, that is another issue that is caused, or that's a sign. Also, if you get really fatigued, if you get really dizzy, if you're really tired all the time, especially during your period, this is a very true tell sign that you may have fibroids. Okay, So I had all these signs. I had all of them for years. It just got to the point where it was the worst in 2019. And so I did something about it. I went the more healthy version. So there are natural ways to combat your fibroids. Some of these natural ways include eating better. I cut out red meats from my diets and I went strictly to fish and chicken, mostly vegetarian. I went a lot more to plant-based foods, salads, greens, nuts, grains. All of those things are very good. There have been studies shown, but fibroids may come from very poor diet or eating a lot of fried food, eating out all the time. These things definitely can affect your health and can affect your uterine. So I changed my diet. I drank a lot more water. Water is very important. I rarely drink soda. I drink a lot of tea. Tea very helps. It's a calmer. It's natural herbs and it's very good for you, especially ginger tea. So I had a lot of ginger tea. So I drank water, I had tea, and I started working out. Oh my gosh, I started running a lot. 2020, I ran about 3 miles a day, 5 days a week. It was that serious to me. And I felt better. I felt so much better. When I tell you, it was like a night and day change. It got to the point where I did not have cramps before my period. I did not have cramps. I didn't even know that was possible, you know, let alone this is me, you know, someone who has had extremely bad cramps during their period, and it was literally gone. It was gone. It wasn't overnight, but they were gone. And that's me to this day. I have very little cramps. Sometimes I don't even have to take one Advil. I don't, because I've gotten my body used to my new exercise diet plan, my diet, and also this is very important. What are the stress levels in your life? I had an immense amount of stress with my business, you know. That was number one with my business. I would work long hours at night, you know, and I didn't mind working long hours because I love what I do, but it was not healthy. It was not healthy. So in 2019, 2020, I decided to cut back, you know, take care of my health more, you know, sleep more, less stress. You know, who are the people in your environment? You know, take those stressful people, the drama people out of your life. You know, really align with yourself, rest. You know, you are a woman. It's nothing wrong with resting. That is our natural habitat, to go back in our femininity, to rest and rejuvenate so we can be the best versions of ourselves. So 2019, I started on this journey of health and wellness. 2020, COVID happened, and you know, everyone was kind of inside the house. So I really went a lot harder on taking care of myself, running every day, eating well, drinking a lot of water, resting. And all of those things definitely helped turn my issues around. Now, while having a healthy lifestyle definitely changed my fibroids, they did not take the fibroids away. So this year I really got serious about finding what is the best option for me to get rid of these fibroids. I need them out of me. I need them out. I started going back into my unhealthy ways of working too much, and earlier this year, and you know, I did not want to fall back into that pattern of being stressed out and not taking care of my health. So I decided to make health my #1 priority. Not only did I get a therapist, but I also went and searched out what is the best option to get these out of me. And so I went with the Atlanta Fibroid Center, and I have a UFE, a uterine fibroid embolization appointment on August 10th. Yes! So this is my pre-video to my procedure, because it is not a surgery. Now there are different ways for you to get rid of these, whereas hysterectomy, which is removing the whole uterine, which is painful to think about because I don't have any children. A myomectomy, which is just having surgery to get them removed, but this does not mean that they won't grow back. So I didn't want that option either. I wanted them out and I wanted them to stay out. So with the UFE program, or the UFE procedure, they shrink the fibroids and then they cut off the blood supply so that they do not grow back. And so to me, this was the best option for me. This was the best option because I felt more secure in getting them removed and never having this problem again, you know, especially, you know, with my life changes, but with that as well. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Okay, best option. Yes, so a little bit about this procedure. It is a 1-hour procedure. They leave a mark that's small enough to where a band-aid can cover it, and it's a pretty short recovery time as well. And so I have not ever done this procedure before, but I am excited to go through this, and this is my pre-video, so I will do a post update once the fibroids are out so that you can hear more about my story and what I went through. So I have 7 fibroids, and 2 of them are a little over 3.5 centimeters, so about the size of 2 oranges. And I'm small, you know, so they take up a pretty hefty amount of my stomach. So that's why I really wanted to get this done, you know, to really be true to myself, and so that I can really show up in the world and show up in my business and show up in my life and my relationships, the most full and healthy version of me. So women, Black women, please go check. Require your doctors to give you an ultrasound, you know, so that you really can figure out if you have these fibroids. It is very important. Over 80% of African American women have fibroids. That is a very high chance that you have fibroids. So don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until you're pregnant. Don't wait. You need to do it now. You need to do it now. So thank you. That's my update. I hope you guys have learned something, and I will be back with more updates. Be blessed.